Let us now understand how to find the slope and what exactly is the concept of slope. Consider a straight line. Now this is some angle of inclination theta that it is making with the positive x-axis. We define that slope of this line is going to be tan of theta, which is m. So tangent of this particular angle, that is called the slope of the straight line. Slope means actually what? What is slope? Slope means how steep the line is. So as the angle is going to vary with the straight line, this line is going to become more and more steeper. Example, suppose this theta is given to us as 60 degrees. We can say that the slope of the straight line is tan of 60, which is root 3. Suppose we are given that theta is 45 degrees. We can say that the slope of this line is tan of 45 degrees, which is 1. So as the angle will vary, the slope will also vary for sure. The other way to look at it is, suppose we have a straight line. So let us say we have got 2 points, x1, y1, and there's another point, x2, y2. Let's just join this. We realize that if I join this part and if I join this part, we will find two line segments. So you can see from this, this is the angle theta. This also should be angle theta because they are corresponding angles. Let's name them as A, B, C. You can clearly see that this point is going to be x1. This is going to be x2. The x coordinate of this is going to be x2 because it's under this. And this has gone ahead. Y coordinate won't change. That's going to be the same. Clearly, the length of this is going to be x2 minus x1. The length of this is going to be y2 minus y1. So tan theta is given as BC by AB, which is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So slope of the straight line is always given as y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. So we can just write the slope is given as tan theta, which is y2 minus y1 by x2 minus x1. Let's take a couple of examples. Let us say we have a straight line and it's been given to us that this point is 0 comma minus 2, this point is minus 3 comma 0. We have to find the slope of the straight line. All that we have to do is, let's consider this as the y coordinate 0 minus 2, y2 minus y1, and x2 minus x1 is going to be minus 3 minus 0, which is going to be minus 2 by 3. So slope of this straight line is negative. Now let us take another straight line. Let's consider this point as minus 2 comma 0. This point is 0 comma 5. Let us do the exercise again. M is equal to 5 minus 0 divided by 0 minus of minus 2, which is going to be 5 by 2. This time the slope of the straight line is positive. So from here, I would like to introduce to you another concept which says that if the line is making an obtuse angle, theta greater than 90 degrees, with regards to this x-axis, positive x-axis, we say that the slope of the straight line is going to be negative. if the straight line is making an angle theta which is less than 90 degrees, an acute angle with the positive direction of x-axis, we're going to say that the slope is positive. Let's take yet another example. Let us say this time we have got something like this, and this angle is given to us as 60 degrees. Now this is 60 degrees, we need to find what is the slope of this straight line. Now of course, to handle this, we need some basic knowledge of trigonometry, and I will always recommend you to remember these bare minimum values of tan of the angle. So tan theta and theta. So let us say if we would have the standard angle as 0, 30, 45, 60, 90, and then going ahead 120, 135, 150 and 180. So these are the standard angles which would be required for physics students. Tan of 0 is 0, tan of 30 is 1 by root 3, tan of 45 is 1, tan of 60 is root 3, tan 90 is of course not defined. Tan of 120 is going to be same as this but with a negative sign. Tan of 135 is going to be same as this but with a negative sign. Tan of 150 is going to be same as this but with a negative sign. Tan of 180 of course is 0. So if you remember these bare minimum values, I'm sure you can find a slope anyway. So now if this is 60 degrees, we need to find a line, we need to find the slope of this particular line. What we do is, this is going to be also 60 degrees because vertically opposite angles, and if this is 90, this has to be 30 degrees, which implies that for the angle we have to consider this, which is 150 degrees, which implies that we need to find tan of 150 degrees. So from the table we know tan of 150 degrees is minus 1 by root 3. So slope of this straight line is minus 1 by root 3. Of course, the basics of trigonometry have to be learned as to why this is minus 1 by root 3 and why tan theta is negative for obtuse angles. But the basic information that you need to know at this point is all of this. Let's quickly understand another format of plotting a straight line, which is called slope-intercept form. Now, what exactly is slope-intercept form? Let us say this is a straight line which is having a slope of m, and this point is 0, c, which implies that the y-intercept of this straight line is c units. Now, if we have two information which is given over here, the two pieces of information, they can write the equation of this line as y is equal to mx plus c, where m gives the slope of this line and c tells us about the y-intercept. Two things mentioned. Let's take an example. Suppose I tell you that the equation of the line is y is equal to x plus 2. What it means? It means that the slope of the straight line is minus 1 and the y-intercept is 2. So this line is going to be looking something like this. So this point is 0, 2, and this y-intercept is of course 2. The slope is positive. What is the slope? You can clearly see that the slope is 1. So compare this equation with this equation. This implies that m is 1. Now m equals to 1 also implies one more thing, that the angle made this time is 45 degrees with the x-axis, because tan of 45 is actually 1. Let's take another example. Suppose I tell you that y is equal to x minus 2 is the line. This time, the equation of the line is y is equal to x minus 2. How do I plot this? For that, what we're going to do is write this as so we are going to bring it down a little because this point has to be symmetric 0 comma minus 2. This time the y-intercept of this line is going to be minus 2 because it's coming down. Of course, the length of this is 2, the magnitude of it is 2, but then because it is down, the y-intercept is minus 2 and the slope remains same. Now this tells us one more thing, that two lines which are having the same slope are of course parallel to each other. So in this case, we can say that the equation of this is y is equal to x minus 2. So you can see the slope is same. That means the angle is 45 degrees in this case. But the y-intercept is minus 2. Let us take one more variation of this. So let us say this time this particular line is passing through the origin. What do you feel the equation would be? What intercept it is making with respect to the y-axis? Of course, the intercept is 0. This time it is passing through the origin. So as I told you in video 1, what is happening over here is, it is of the format y is equal to mx. But m is 1 because it is parallel to both these lines. So y is equal to x is the equation. So this time this is making 45 degrees. Let's take a few examples now and try to plot these straight lines. So the question says we need to plot the straight lines and also mention their slopes. So let us do it one by one. First line says that now if you observe the pattern in this line, you can simplify this line as y is equal to x minus 2. Divide throughout by 2. This is the equation that we're talking about, which implies that this is nothing but slope is positive. You can see it over here, m is 1. So angle made is 45 degrees. Also, the intercept is negative, which means that this line is going to be, this point is going to be 0, minus 2, and this angle is 45. So tan of 45 is 1. Slope is 1. Question 2. Again, we can simplify this. Divide throughout by 2. If you divide throughout by 2, what you're going to get is x plus y is equal to 3. Now, if you rearrange it in that slope intercept form, you're going to get y is equal to minus x plus 3. This time, we know that the slope is negative. Slope is minus 1. And according to the table that we have learned, we know that slope is minus 1 for an angle of 135 degrees. So the concerned angle over here is 135 degrees. But what is the intercept? The intercept is positive 3. That means it is passing through this particular point 0, 3, and it is making an angle of 135 degrees. Let's go for the next one. It says that the line is y is equal to x plus 4. Now this is pretty simple. The slope here is 1 and the line is this. So this angle is 45 degrees. This point is 0, 4. The next one is pretty similar to the one we have done in the past question. So here it is going to be making an angle of 135 degrees because the slope is minus 1. But it is passing through the origin. Y is equal to minus x. This angle is 135 degrees. The last one, of course, you can take this as a homework and you can do it by yourself.